Welcome to True Pitch. Every football star's journey begins with a dream. A hero on a poster, a legend on the pitch. But what happens when that childhood dream becomes your reality? When your idol becomes your teammate, your coach, or your rival? These are the stories of the ultimate fan-to-player transformation. Lamine Yamal and Lionel Messi. Here is Lamine Yamal during his early days at La Masia, posing with his ultimate hero, Lionel Messi. Years later, Yamal inherited the legacy and the pressure of carrying the Barcelona flame. Kylian Mbappe and Cristiano Ronaldo. The photograph that launched 1,000 headlines. Mbappe, as a teenager, meets the player whose posters covered his bedroom wall. The fan then became the most direct challenger to his idol's throne. Julian Alvarez and Ángel Di Maria is photographed with the seasoned veteran. Their bond, starting in this fan moment, culminated in them winning the 2022 World Cup together. Rodrigo Goes and Neymar. This classic Brazilian photo captures a young Rodrigo with Neymar. Rodrigo followed in his idol's footsteps, becoming a star at Santos before joining the Brazilian national team alongside Neymar. Lamine Yamal and Sergio Ramos. Even before his fame, Lamine Yamal was seen fulfilling the role of a mascot, holding the hand of the legendary Spanish captain, Sergio Ramos, before a major game. Sergi Roberto and Gerard Piqué. A testament to La Masia's pipeline, a young Sergi Roberto is pictured alongside Gerard Piqué. Both rose through the ranks to become longtime teammates and cornerstones of the Barcelona defense. Brahim Diaz and Isco. Brahim Diaz, serving as a ball boy, was famously caught on camera staring in awe at Isco. The fans' dream came true when they became teammates and midfield partners at Real Madrid. Harry Kane and David Beckham. Rare and fantastic snap of a young Harry Kane meeting global icon David Beckham. Kane went on to surpass many of Beckham's records for the England national team. Coke and Fernando Torres. Coke, still a child in the Atletico Madrid system, is captured with the club's celebrated hero, Fernando Torres. Coke eventually inherited the captain's armband from his idol. Julian Alvarez and Lionel Messi. Another angle shows the young Alvarez meeting Messi. This photo represents the moment the fan first stood next to the man who would later guide him to football's greatest prize. Nuno Mendes and Cristiano Ronaldo. A genuine childhood photo shows a small Nuno Mendes posing with Ronaldo. This fan's photograph eventually became the reality of a shared dressing room with his country's legend. Andrés Iniesta and Pep Guardiola. A young Iniesta is captured alongside Pep Guardiola, the midfield maestro he would eventually replace and serve under, defining an entire era of FC Barcelona football. Dominik Szoboszlai and Cristiano Ronaldo. The Hungarian star Szoboszlai is seen here with Ronaldo. They later met as opponents on the international stage during UEFA Nations League fixtures. Neymar and Robinho. A young Neymar is photographed with Robinho, the star he idolized and eventually replaced at Santos, before becoming the Seleção's main star. Angel Gomez and Wayne Rooney. Gomez, an aspiring talent in the Manchester United Academy, meets club legend Wayne Rooney. They briefly overlapped as senior teammates at Old Trafford. Jesse Lingard and Cristiano Ronaldo. Lingard, Then a youth player at Manchester United is pictured with the young Cristiano Ronaldo. They were later reunited as attacking teammates during Ronaldo's second spell at the club. Kylian Mbappe and Thierry Henry. Mbappe, still a young boy, is photographed with the French legend Thierry Henry. Mbappe would go on to smash many of Henry's records for the French national team. Wayne Rooney and Duncan Ferguson. Rooney, an ardent Everton fan, is seen with his boyhood striking hero, Duncan Ferguson. Rooney later debuted and played alongside Ferguson at the club. Danny Welbeck and Rio Ferdinand. Danny Welbeck, a young Manchester United academy hopeful, is pictured with defensive giant Rio Ferdinand. Welbeck rose to become Ferdinand's teammate in both club and country. David Klaassen and Zlatan Ibrahimovic. A young Klaassen is photographed with the formidable Zlatan. Klaassen would go on to establish himself at Ajax and the Dutch national team, facing his former idol as a peer. Wesley Sneijder and Patrick Kluivert. A young Sneijder is pictured with the legendary Patrick Kluivert. Sneijder later rose through the ranks at Ajax to establish his own formidable career, following Kluivert's path. Matthijs de Ligt and Luis Suarez. The young Matthijs de Ligt is photographed with Luis Suarez, who was playing for Ajax at the time. De Ligt would later meet Suarez as a rival in the Champions League. Mateo Kovacic and Luka Modric. Kovacic, still a young player, is pictured with his future midfield partner and mentor, Luka Modric. They cemented one of the strongest midfield duos in Croatian history. Mauro Icardi and Maxi Lopez. A young Icardi is pictured with Maxi Lopez, who would later become his teammate at Sampdoria, setting the stage for one of football's most dramatic personal rivalries. Callum Hudson-Odoi and Samuel Eto'o. Hudson-Odoi, as a ball boy, famously got to meet Samuel Eto'o, who once picked him up after he fell. This fan moment foreshadowed Eto'o's brief spell as his teammate at Chelsea. David Beckham and Bobby Charlton. A truly generational photo. A young David Beckham meets the legendary Sir Bobby Charlton. Beckham later became one of the biggest names in the game, continuing Charlton's legacy at Manchester United. Patrick Kluivert and Marco van Basten. A young Kluivert is pictured with the celebrated Dutch striker Marco van Basten. Kluivert followed directly in Van Basten's footsteps, becoming one of the most prolific strikers for Ajax and the Dutch national team. These iconic moments are snapshots of destiny. They remind us that today's idols are tomorrow's legends. From a simple photo to a shared pitch, the connection between the fan and the hero remains the most magical part of football. Which of these incredible reunions is your favorite? Let us know in the comments below. This is True Pitch.